Does Luke want to have lunch with Scott?
No, that's not he wants. Luke doesn't want to have a lunch with
No,
Scott.
that's not what he wants. Luke doesn't want to have lunch with Scott. What does Luke want?
Luke wants to meet with Scott.
Luke wants to meet with Scott. Does Luke want to borrow money from Scott?
No, Luke doesn't want to borrow money from Scott.
No, Luke doesn't want to borrow money from Scott. What does Luke want?
Luke wants to meet with Scott.
Luke wants to meet with Scott. Does Luke want to have a meeting with Scott?
Yes, that's correct. Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott.
Yes, that's correct. Luke wants to.
He wants to meet with Scott. Which is saying that he wants to have a meeting with Scott. To meet with someone, that means to have a meeting with someone.
Is with Scott, which is the same thing as saying that Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott.
Which is the same thing. Which is the same thing saying that Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott.
To meet with someone means to have a meeting with someone.
To meet with someone means
Does Luke think the meeting will last all day?
No, he didn't think the meeting will last all day.
How long does he think the meeting will last?
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours.
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours. Does he think the meeting will last more than 4 hours?
No, he doesn't think the meeting will last more than 4 hours.
No, he doesn't think the meeting will last more than 4 hours. How long does he think the meeting will last?
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours.
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours. Does Scott have time for meetings this week?
No, Scott doesn't have time for meeting this week.
No, Scott doesn't have time for meetings this week. He's very busy.
He's very busy.
Is Scott a little busy or very busy this week?
Well, Scott is very busy this week.
Scott is very busy this week. Will the meeting between Luke and Scott take place this week?
No, the meeting between Luke and Scott won't take place this week.
No, the meeting between Luke and Scott will not take place this week. When will the meeting take place?
Well, the meeting will take place next week.
The meeting will take place next week. Is it true that the meeting will take place next week instead of this week?
Yes, that's exactly right. The meeting between Luke and Steve will take
Yes,
place
it's true.
Next week.
The meeting will take place next week instead of this week.
Yes, it's true.
Why will the meeting take place next week instead of this week?
Well, the meeting will take place next week instead of this week because Scott is very busy this week.
Well, the meeting will take place next week instead of this week because Scott is very busy this week. Now, let's help Luke and Scott figure out the best day next week to set up their meeting. You're looking at the schedules for Luke and Scott's for next week. I'm gonna ask questions based on their schedules. Will Luke be in the office on Monday?
Yes, Luke will be in the office on
Yes,
Monday.
he will. Luke will be in the office on Monday. What about Scott? Will Scott be in the office on Monday?
No, Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
No, he won't. Scott won't be in the
No,
office
he
on
won't.
Monday.
Scott will be
Who won't be in the office on Monday?
Thì chia là 3 phần, ví dụ như chia là 3 phần thì một công thì anh chia một người 333 mét vuông gì đó, anh cắt tách ra là 3 ghi. Thì chút thì anh
No, he won't. Scott won't be in the office on Monday. Who won't be in the office on Monday?
Where is Scott? Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
It's Scott. Scott will be in the office on Monday. Is it true that Scott will be absent from work on Monday?
Yes, it's true. Scott will be absent
Yes, that's
from work
true.
on Monday.
Scott will be absent from work on Monday. Can I set up the meeting on Monday?
No, they can't set up their meeting on Monday.
No, they cannot set up the meeting on Monday. Why can't they set up the meeting on Monday?
Well, they can set up the meeting on Monday because Scott will be absent. Scott won't be in the
Well,
office on
they
Monday.
can't set up the meeting on Monday because Scott won't be in the office. He'll be on vacation.
He'll be on vacation.
Will Luke be on vacation next week?
No, Luke won't be on vacation next
No,
week.
Luke won't be on vacation next week. Who will be on vacation next week?
Girl, it's Scott. Scott will be on vacation next week.
Scott will be on vacation next week. Will he be on vacation for 5 days?
No, he won't be on vacation for 5
No,
days.
he won't be on vacation for 5 days. This is going to be a short vacation.
This is going to be
How
a
many
short
days
vacation.
will he be on vacation?
Well, he'll be on vacation for 3 days.
He'll be on vacation for 3 days. Will Scott be in the office on Monday?
No, Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
No, Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
Đi bên trong một ạ.
Does that mean they can't set up the meeting on Monday?
Yes, they can set up their meeting on Monday.
Yes, that's exactly right. That means they can't set up the meeting on Monday. What about Tuesday? Can I set up the meeting on Tuesday?
No, they still can set up their meeting on Tuesday.
No, they still can't set up the meeting on Tuesday. Why can't they set up the meeting on Tuesday?
Well, they can set up the meeting on Tuesday because Scott won't be in the office
Well,
that day.
they can't set up the meeting on Tuesday because Scott won't be in the office. Who will be absent from work on Tuesday?
Well, it's Scott. Scott will be absent from work on Tuesday.
It's Scott. Scott will be absent from work on Tuesday. Will Scott be back on Wednesday?
No, Scott won't be back on
No, he
Wednesday.
won't. Scott won't be back on Wednesday. When will Scott be back?
Well, Scott will be back on Thursday.
Scott will be back on Thursday. Will Scott be absent from work on Thursday?
No, Scott won't be absent from work on Thursday.
No, Scott won't be absent from work on Thursday. He'll be in the office.
He'll be in the office.
All right, so Scott will be back on Thursday. Does that mean they can set up their meeting on Thursday?
Well, they still can set the meeting on Thursday because
Unfortunately, no. They still
Luke
can
has a
set up their
doctor's
meeting on
appointment
Thursday.
that day.
Why can't they set up their meeting on Thursday?
They can set up the meeting on Thursday because Luke has a doctor's appointment that day.
Well, they can't set up their meeting on Thursday because Luke won't be in the office. He has a doctor's appointment that day. a doctor's appointment on Thursday?
Well, it's Luke. Luke has a doctor's appointment that day.
It's Luke. Luke has a doctor's appointment on Thursday. Does Scott have any doctor's appointment next week?
No, Scott doesn't have any.
No, Scott doesn't have any
appointment
doctor's
next week.
appointment next week. Tell me again. Why can't they set up their meeting on Thursday?
Well, they can't set up their meeting on Thursday because Luke won't be in the office. He had the doctor's
They
appointment
can't
that
set
day.
up their meeting on Thursday because Luke has a doctor's appointment that day, so he won't be in the office. Will Luke be in the office on Friday?
Yes, Luke will be in the office on Friday.
Yes, it will. Luke will be in the office on Friday. What about Scott? Will Scott be in the office on Friday as well?
Yes, Scott will be in the office.
Yes,
on
Scott will
Friday
be in the office on Friday as well.
as well.
Can they set up their meeting on Friday?
Yes, they can set up their meeting on Friday.
Yes, they can't set up their meeting that day. Will both Luke and Scott be in the office on Friday?
Yes, they will. They will. Both,
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Both Luke and
both
Scott
Luke and
will be in
Scott
the
will
office on
on
Friday.
Friday.
Can I set up their meeting on Friday?
Yes, they can set up their meeting on Friday.
Yes, they can. Both Luke and Scott will be in the office on Friday, so they can set up their meeting that day.